It's a different way of Prem Show.
Okay, I hope you like the show. Už můžeme začít? Nebo už jsme začali?
Už se začí, už se nahrává celou dobu.
Dávno nahrává.
We don't need that. We don't need it. We fixed it. So, good evening everyone. Hello everybody. It will be in English, so if you don't understand now, later on we will put there some subtitles so you can read it. There will be no translation tonight. So today is a very special day. First of all, there's a Guru Purnima, the celebration of all gurus of history, yoga and dhyan and wisdom. Second of all, we could spend the day in this wonderful place in a growing Ayur Pharmagyani in Khudíř with our teacher Govindji. And on top of all of that great news, we have here a special guest today, Shiva Shankar, who was today and for some other days also the member of our teacher training of yoga, which is being held just now. So please welcome Shiva.
Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you. So it's a great opportunity to have you here, Shiva.
Thank you.
But I realized that I don't know so much information about you. I read something on your website. As I don't have any chance, or all of us, to meet a full-time yogi coming from India, Rishikesh, I would be so pleased if I can ask you a couple of questions. First of the question is, how did you get your name Shiva Shankar? What it means? Can you say something about that?
This is Shiva Shankar is not my birth name. It was given by my Sadguru, who initiated me to spiritual path, Swami Chidananda Saraswati, who was the disciple of Swami Shivananda Maharaj in Rishikesh, and who later became the president of DLS, Divine Life Society. So this is quite active organization in all around the globe, and it is established in Rishikesh. So when I met my Guruji, so he chose this name for me, and so this is how in Vedic tradition we receive the mantra, Guru mantra, through certain ritual, and we receive also spiritual name. Otherwise my name in my birth name is different than Shiva Shankar. Shiva is the name of Lord Shiva, as everybody is aware of this name, quite famous. So Shiva is the Adi Yogi, the first yogi, and the Guru of all yogis and enlightened beings. And Shiva, who took incarnation a couple of times on this planet Earth, and also he imparted the deep wisdom and knowledge of yoga and enlightenment, spiritual growth, in the dialogue form between his beloved Shakti and him. So Parvati used to ask several questions and Shiva used to answer one after another to all of them. So Shiva is the Lord of yoga, and his being and his life itself of great teaching and inspiration. He is a contrast personality. He is ascetic yogi, at the same time he is a householder, totally opposite to each other. and lot of about him, lot of things about him. If you think through a European logic, you'll never understand him. So that's why he is also known as a mystic god. Never try to understand him through his outer life. So yeah, so it's name of Shiva and Shankara. Also, Shankara means who gives you the well-being, who does the auspiciousness, whose blessing and guidance and grace makes your path pretty auspicious. So there is no spot of, not a single spot of any illusion, darkness. That is called pure auspiciousness. Shang means the auspiciousness. Kara means the doer of auspiciousness.
Thank you very much. You said that the name was given to you by your guru.
Mm-hmm.
How did you meet him, or how it works, how it happened?
Actually, when I came to Rishikesh, before that I was in Maharishi Mahesh Yogi Ashram in Delhi. So it's a Vedic university where we used to study 10,000 students together, Vedic students. It's a huge ashram, and first I met my inspiration in my spiritual path, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, also who is known as Guru of Beatles as well.
Mm-hmm.
When Beatles came to Rishikesh, they were initiated by him into meditation, and that was the place where they created White Album. So anyway, so I was quite lucky to have his meditation and grace and blessing, and also I studied there the Vedic literature and the Vedic mantras, the rituals, and lot of things I learned there. And then after 2.5 years my education went further, so I decided to go to live in a monastery, in ashram in the Himalayas, and then I came to Rishikesh. When I came to Rishikesh, so then I started studying again the Vedic scriptures, especially the philosophical aspect of the Veda, where there is a Shankara ashram, Shankaracharya, Advaita Parampara. So where Swami Shivananda was also initiated there. So, and then one day I just heard that Swami Chidananda was quite enlightened personality at that time, and a lot of people used to speak about him. I also had a desire, and deep inside that I would meet him one day. So it happened that he chose me, and when I went in the satsang, so every day in the samadhi hall in the ashram there is satsang. So Swamiji used to sing the kirtan. A lot of devotees, they used to be around him to listen to him. So after the first satsang I attended ever, and then after the satsang finished, then next day is the initiation, early in the morning. It's a full moon day. So I did not know, I was not aware of all these things are following on its own, spontaneous. So then I went and just could not look into his eyes. It was so like sunny, so bright, so powerful. He looks very thin. One by one bone you can even count in his body. But very powerful personality. So anyway, so then he said that tomorrow early morning come to Gurudev Kutir. So then I was there, and then I received the mantra from him, grace and blessing. So since then, it's very in Rishikesh at that time there were just very few monks, and Swamiji was one of the great saints who is recognized all around the globe among the spiritual seekers to have his blessing. So he is no more in the physical body. He has passed away 3 years ago.
Very good. You said that it's hard to understand, for example, name Shiva or his behavior or this principle here in Europe with our European mind. But as you told me before, you travel a lot in Europe and teach yoga. So how does it match? How does it get together with your mind, with your knowledge, with your background? Then if you go to country which has usually not so much information about yoga and maybe all the spiritual part or spiritual side of the human being and life, how does it go? Was it some kind of shock at the beginning, or you developed some special way how to...
When I came to Europe very first time, 20 years ago, so it was a big cultural shock in all levels, especially when I came to Europe. Prague was the first city for me to land, and then immediately I got a shock as soon as I landed in the European country, and all these things on street you can see, it never exists in India. So yeah, something was just like I used to ask to my mind that what is happening here and how I can survive here. So anyways, and a lot of things also quite good. I mean, if you compare to the inhabitants of India and Europe, is a big difference in that context. But otherwise, the culture-wise, there is a really big difference. And so I studied. I tried to understand the life here, and I was always going through the yoga circle. So, and the spiritual seekers, so it did not trouble me a lot. But I was quite pretty open to know them, to understand them. But what I found is life inside is empty. Though it looks very comfort, sometimes very comfortable life. People have money, people have car, people have luxurious life. Maybe not everyone, but to just get that comfortable life, luxurious life, lot of struggle, too much stress inside, and there is no like a family value, there is no even moral values. I mean, I found that quite closely. There is no spiritual values, even there is no life values. I was shocked in the beginning that it's just a money-making machine, the life, whole life. And then when you talk about the spiritual philosophy or something like God, about your true being, about how to live properly, then people are resistant. But no, you are teaching us some like religion or something like that. So, but this is the way of life. And sometimes also when people look at you, the way you live, then I don't need to speak a word. So there's certain inspiration that people also follow the way of life. It looks brilliant. So I normally in my life don't have too much stress, and there is no reason to be, I don't find a reason to be sad. I don't find a reason to be like depressed. I never thought about my survival on the planet, how to live my life. I never really thought to like how to live my tomorrow, how life will be without money. When I left my home, I never cared for the tomorrow. So in a way that I was never worried about my survival. One day, one of my students in Europe, he asked me, how do you take care of your survival? Do you do something else rather than yoga and spiritual training? I said, I don't know anything else except yoga. So, but how do you survive? He said, I have not come to this planet for survival. This is not my aim. If I do so, I would be animal better, not human. So I don't want to follow the same sheeps, group of sheeps, you know. So yes, but nature arranged it, the way I lived and the way I led myself in the yoga path, then that also provided me my life to live. So everything is spontaneous. I'm not chasing after money. Money is chasing me. Like a cat. If you chase after cat, then cat runs away from you. But if you have all those ingredients in your hand which cat loves, then cat chases you. So yoga is the ingredient that money chases you.
You said that yoga is the ingredient. Today, mostly everywhere in the world, in any big cities or now even in a small, there are some yoga studios or yoga shalas, or some places where people say they do yoga. Do you feel any difference in those places comparing to Rishikesh or places where you were grown up?
So it's very calculative and mathematical. There's nothing bad with that, but people here, I think, need to develop more awareness. Instead of doing yoga, how to live in yoga, living yoga. So that is missing. For example, like how to go to toilet even. Just a simple thing. How to sleep, how to eat, how to brush your teeth, all that. Those little thing. How to look at your, how to look your face in mirror. Yoga says all these details. So living in yoga, if we learn that, so then do a little practice that will bring more benefits to our day-to-day life for transformation. But living in yoga, maybe the way we grow up here in Europe, in family, especially my mother, the way she raised me, she's my first guru, I would say. She did not teach me any asana or some movement, but I did not need that even in my childhood. I was pretty flexible in my way. So, but she was so strict with me for the spiritual discipline. Waking up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, taking shower, sitting down in meditation, not speaking until 8 o'clock, until we finish our ritual and stuff. Then, yeah, so she trained me this way, from the way I grew up. So I did not feel any difference when I went to monastery to live my spiritual path.
So were your parents also engaged in yoga?
Spiritual aspect of yoga. That was very strict in our family. I was not allowed to take food if I don't do meditation and puja even one day. My mother used to keep me fasting. You did not do that, you cannot sleep, you cannot eat. That was like strict discipline. So that kind of environment I grew up in. Brahmin family, Brahmin village. Every house would have this ceremony every day. So all around the mantra, all around the nice good vibes. That's good. It's a dream to see it.
So how did it happen that you get here in connection with Ayurveda University, with Govindji in Prague? Or maybe who invited you first time to Prague, or how?
I tell you the story of what happened when I was many years ago, when there was Om Centrum in some square. And Santosh was so little, so small. So, and I came there in the shop. They had some shop. Somebody, there was a tantric guru in Prague. I remember his name, Iri Mazanek. I don't know if he is dead or alive now. He's alive still. Oh, sorry. Got that. So anyway, So one of his assistants, she brought me there. So that was the first time how I met Govindji, and Masi was there also. So then I remember she gave me some masala and some incense stick and stuff. Then I ate something there. That was the first time I met Govindji there. And then later on, Hanuman. So he became a big bridge for me again to reconnect. And he came to Rishikesh also. So that is how it slowly started to develop. Then Ayur Festival. Then I started to join because I am in Europe for 3 months. So I try my best to take my time off to do something with Guruji.
So the rest of the year you are staying in India, or you travel also somewhere else out of Europe?
Actually, I be in Europe, then I go to UK, and then after I go back to India, then I be in Rishikesh, then I visit Eastern countries, China, Japan, Thailand, Singapore, all those countries.
So how
Traveling a lot.
How does the day of yogi is? What it means, like how it goes with the schedule? Because if you travel so much, some stuff must be a little bit harder to follow. So how do you handle with that? So if you can explain how your day looks, and then how it is affected by traveling, for example.
The most important thing is that I try my best to observe, to follow my morning routine. So 3:45 a.m. I wake up, and then I immediately freshen up, then go to shower, then I am into my meditation and ritual, mantra chant and japa, all these things my spiritual practice do in the morning. Then my yoga practice, pranayama, other stuff, then I start teach. So when my morning practice, it goes for 3 hours, so nothing is going to affect them. So whether I'm traveling, I'm meeting the people, I am having workshop, and I'm going from one place to another, all these things are happening. But I just feel like fully charged to face any situation. Groups of people, maybe strangers, no problem, not being ever affected, and take everything easy. So that makes me quite, being aloof at the same time, not being affected by so many impressions. They are there. I try my best to learn from others and from situations, from people, instead of judging them all the time. And so we learn from each other. Even I learned a lot of things from Europe. So this is how we grow up together.
Is there any routine which you suggest, or if someone asks you what to do every day, like let's say some kind of minimum, do you tell them something like you can do this or that, or follow this or follow that? Is it possible to say generally, or is it too much individual?
What do you mean, just for normal people, or
like people who have families, who have their job, who, I don't know what kind of people are coming to your workshops.
Okay, so okay, I understood. So the good question is like how to live in yoga. So of course we have certain workshops. You can go for some training, some retreat, some yoga lessons all around. It is happening everywhere, every city. But the thing is that what to apply in day-to-day life to be in that connection of yoga on daily basis, that you have a kind of like really deep connection and you are into the path of yoga, so that you can confirm with yourself that yes, I'm into path of yoga. And so to live in that, I would suggest, as I said recently, that wake up early in the morning, that is quite important. Though it is quite annoying in the beginning, and it's so tiring, maybe because the body is not used to. So waking up early in the morning, for European standards, it's quite really hard job. So the people here just they wake up and take shower, and or maybe not taking shower even sometimes, because early night I have taken showers, so no problem. So then they say that okay, so we wake up, then getting ready and go immediately to office to work. This is wrong way to start the day. So I never can imagine a yoga seeker, spiritual seeker should start like this. Work comes later. First, let us connect ourselves to our inner being, inner happiness, inner joy, where the energy is coming from. Otherwise, without inspiration, whatever the work you do, it is going to bring you stress and tension. Then you are overwhelmed by all this happening the whole day. And you are out of control. When you come back from office work, then you are gone completely. So this is how waking up early in the morning and taking just normal water, keeping that in copper pot according to Ayurveda, early night. Then you can drink water, fresh yourself, and do some maybe movement, or maybe exercise, and shower, and at least 25 minutes or 30 minutes meditation, or maybe just 15 minutes. Just sit down comfortably and meditate. So, and also if you have some yoga practice, pranayama and asana, you can do that, whatever you want. Then you go. So you have enough time, so to not to find any excuse that I don't have time because I'm a family member. You definitely have time if you wake up early. So then when you go to work, in every 1 hour, maybe in every 3 hours, maybe 1.5 hours, take a break. Not coffee break, but breathing break. So deep breathing. So wherever you are sitting down, just do deep breathing for 5 minutes or maybe 2 minutes. That will recharge our energy and recharge our brain to carry on. So in the end of the day, then you are no more tired. So this kind of little practice can bring really big change in life. So applying the vegetarian food, celery juice, drinking early in the morning, that will bring more transformation to our body. And also a lot of green vegetables, organic vegetables, lentils for protein. So non-vegetarian food, meat and stuff, no, forever. So yeah, food, lifestyle, all these things, and go to bed early in the night instead of going to beer bar and club. Yeah. So wine life does not help to grow as a human being. Divine life definitely will help.
So what you have described right now, it looks like even person who has family and job and everything what is usually in the West can live yoga all the day. It sounds a little bit different than to go once a week or maybe even every day to yoga class, which takes 1.5 hour, maybe 2 hours. So is it something what you try to transmit or postpone to people who are coming to your workshops, and do you see any difference in the time because you are traveling to Europe, you said like last 20 years?
I push them hard.
You push them hard.
Yeah. So my first introduction is live in the yoga. This is the routine. This is the things you have to do morning to evening. I settle down a routine for them first. So then they find out the way. Even today, not tomorrow, they try their best to set that routine. And so many people have been already into it. Like they see you and they are just curious. What is this wild man? What he says? Why beard and mustache? Maybe sometimes it's quite different image. So then, yeah, they ask certain questions. Then I say, okay, so maybe if you just live this way, it can be beneficial. They try, and it is very good. It is very healthy and healing. Yeah, this is the way it works.
So today there are another friends of us. So if any one of you have any question, please you can ask. Jestli někdo máte nějakou otázku, tak se můžete zeptat. Kdyby to jste se báli říct v angličtině, tak já se to pokusím přeložit.
S čím se Shiva setkal, nebo co považuje za nejtěžší v jeho životě?
What was or what is the hardest thing in your life? What do you consider to be the hardest?
What I consider to...
Like your experience, what kind of situation you found as the most hard for you personally?
Personally? The hardest thing, you mean in my past?
That's your present? this life.
You can choose. She's giving you quite flexibility. Soft or actual.
Hardest thing, not to smile. Often. It's very hard. Even my mother used to, when you go to people, at least stop smiling. Because it can be, they can take the disadvantage of you. You should know that. Don't be so soft. You should be a little bit, like as a teacher even, you should be a little bit strict and don't smile all the time, even in your class. So that is quite a hard part. And sometimes I consciously really become serious and still I cannot help myself. So, anyway, that was a joke.
Good one.
But it's true. The hardest part to understand the life which exists in give and take relationship, which the mundane life. The life is governed by commerce, governed by money, governed by power, governed by position, governed by ego. That is quite hard for me to understand and very hard for me sometimes to deal with. With such people, you never know how they play with you. So, and I also gone through such experience. That's why I'm saying that I don't understand sometimes how they, what their intention is. So yeah, it's quite difficult. It has been quite hard for me to deal with such it has been quite hard. So I hope you understand. So sometimes probably that is the reason I don't match myself to the with a society or with a group of people who have a different mindset. Not the yogic or spiritual way, or let's say just not even the noble, uplifted, evolved human values. It is not existing there. So priority is money, priority is ego, and yeah.
internet, when I meet you in the summer or in the winter, all the time you wear this cap on your head. I don't know what it means, like, why?
A cap in my head. Oh, so for the protection. That people will hit me here. No, actually, in Hinduism and in Sikhism, so we have the tradition to keep certain covering over the head. That maybe is the form of cap, hat, or some cloth, like as a turban. So that is also when it is windy and when you're traveling, I feel quite comfortable with this, the cap. And when I meditate, and it's a special woolen, so that keeps my head cool. Actually, it does not heat. So, and also, yeah. So it's a religious aspect.
Thank you. Okay. So it's not.
I have also one question,
Yes.
please. At the beginning, when you explained your name, Shiva, you said that Shiva was master in combining yogi life and also household life. So do you have some instructions how one person or any one of us can do it?
Yes, of course. If Shiva could do it, he is the inspiration. And at the same time, when you follow the yogic principle, yogic teachings, yogic practices in your day-to-day life, so like being with family, following all those duties and responsibilities. But if you are a spiritual seeker, when you are a spiritual seeker, seeking for yourself the true knowledge and the wisdom, so you can maintain the both without any doubt. But yes, it's a life training. So doing all these responsibilities, my mother did that. I could see quite clear. And then it is possible, 100%. But for me, I'm not confident. That's why I did not go to family life. I am still maybe after, if I embrace that family life, maybe just next day I'll run away to Himalaya, or she will maybe run away to somewhere. So maybe I'm not fit for that. But yeah, but definitely it is possible, and there's nothing wrong. It is possible if you really see the values in that, and karma yoga. So not to please someone, but to please God, because in every human being there is divine. So we say God is everywhere, in everybody's heart. So through your own way of life and understanding and the depth of thinking, you can transform even your family. My mother did to me. So this is the best example I could give. So it is possible to live in family and still being a yogi. Govindji is the example here. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
So
Shiva.
karma, jnana, yoga, bhakti. Karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti. These 4 paths. If you combine them together, when you integrate them together, this is possible to live a family life and being a yogi, having a yogi consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.